And I stay very, very enthused about the possibilities to make positive change in our community because I know that this is a very workable town. Most of us have large family bases here. I have a family base that keeps me very inspired about doing things positively in this community. I think there's room for all of us to contribute our talents, and I really especially believe that everybody has something to teach, something to learn. And I feel if we learn how to work together more cooperatively, we can really build our community to be the kind of city that we'd like for it to be. Fort Wayne offers a whole lot of great things for families and for children. And because of that, I think people need to just get out and step outside their comfort zones and see what is available for them in this community and see what it is that we can each do to make it better. I like to start from right where I am and do the things that I can to touch the lives of young people and elders. We all have a circle of influence that we can exert a lot more powerfully. And so I think by just wanting to do for people, I think I can say I'm a definite people person. I do enjoy being around a lot of people. I learn from people all the time. I enjoy children especially. And as
Okay, we're back live again. All right, my next guest is Mr. Anthony Jerome Ridley. Mr. Ridley, welcome to the show here. I've been trying for 30 years to get an interview with you here. And it takes almost, you're sitting in a very interesting position. Coming up here on May 8th, excuse me, is going to be a rally, not a rally, a hearing coming up about gas stations being built in the south side of Fort Wayne. Give me some background as to what's going on and why are people agitated about, saying to me gas stations and what's going on?
Well, what's going on is we have a saturation, as you well know, in the southeast area of quick marts, C-stores, however you want to pronounce it. And what it is doing is taking our disposable income. It's not allowing it to get out of the boundaries of our neighborhood. Another thing is we're not investing in ourselves and making stores that we want to have in our neighborhood so we can start employing and teaching our youth and giving jobs to our neighborhoods and our citizens in our southeast area.
But a lot of areas in the inner city are just laying there, and there's no activity going on. So anytime an entrepreneur comes in, typically that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. But this instance, we just did a talk with people recently, and a lot of these new gas stations are also cooking in these gas stations and having food that will kill you. Mm. It tastes good though.
Yeah, it always tastes good. But what's going on is, if you look at some of the places they've invested, they're trying to listen, but they're doing it at their level. They have kitchens, but most of it's fried food, fried chicken, fried fish, French fries, not really healthy food alternatives. But on the other turn now, Lacey's Barbecue, which used to be the old Brooks, they're inside the filling station over there on Jefferson Street. So there's a black-owned business that had been in the neighborhood for many, many years. They had to relocate and to where the people were going. So I mean, it's a double-edged sword when you do that kind of thing. But I agree with you. The food that they sell, all of it, probably 70% of it is not healthy.
So what do the people want? I mean, what are they saying that would be ideal to be put into that area?
Well, what would be ideal is actually there's a proposal on May 8th down there at the Planning Commission. There's going to be a big vote. There were some investors, the Vic Brothers LLC had some meetings. They wanted to put in another Quickie Mart / C-store, but they also wanted to invest and put in a grocery store. But the grocery store at that time, and the neighbors spoke loud and clear, they don't want that there. They would like to go back to the days where we had Phil's Market there. Phil's was the kind of market where you could go in, Phil would take care of you, pay him at the end of the month, you got what you needed, and that type of situation over there. But the Vic brothers were not aware of that, even though they're here from Fort Wayne and they also went to Southside High School. So they went back to the drawing board, and I can understand the anger of the neighborhood and people saying another gas station. I personally myself, I don't want to see another gas station either. I would like to see a grocery store there because neighborhoods, all of them are in transition. The neighborhood associations have broken down. They don't have people that want to step up to the plate and keep the neighborhood associations going and make a round table like we have every second Wednesday of the month at the McMillan Center for all the neighborhood associations to speak their mind and let them know what's going on, and not only come with the complaints but come with solutions, and then also try to find investors, the type of investments that we want over here.
So now, the name of your neighborhood association is Renaissance Point?
The name of my neighborhood, Renaissance Point, formerly Hannah Creighton. It was transformed over from Hannah Creighton to Renaissance Point when the new building started over there. And in the Southeast Area Partnership is a collaboration of all the neighborhoods that are still active, from the Maumee River, Calhoun Street, all the way out to the airport.
So Renaissance Point, is that appropriate for where you intend to take that area of land?
Well, that area of land is where it's for Old Phil's Lot, for the people that know that.
I'm just talking about your whole area there.
The whole area,
yes,
is in a transition right now. You know, we have rent-to-owns, which also didn't make a lot of people happy, but the investment that Ideal Builders and the city made in that property are allowing mothers, or I should say single parent, whether they're male or female, to make a better life instead of all the old housing stock that we had, because a lot of it had been run down by slumlords and stuff, and it wasn't habitable for people to live in.
Now, you mentioned Phil's Market.
Mm-hmm.
There is not exactly a parasite that just destroyed that concept, but when Walmarts come in, those are the first people to go. The mom and pop stores can't compete against the Walmart, and I think Brownlee is the last survivor of that type here in the area.
Yeah.
So, are you looking to have a chain store type to come into the area, or?
Well,
or do you
none of that's been negotiated out yet. Like I said, we're working with investors, which I may say, like I said, the Vic Brothers, they did come in and want to invest in our neighborhood. They had a Gibbs report a couple of years back at Indiana Tech that was open to all the neighborhoods, city officials and stuff like that. And from the Gibbs report, they showed that we were spending the most money in the city, but we weren't getting the type of services that we look for. You know, they said that our area could support a sit-down restaurant, yet still we've been chasing after like Chili's, Applebee's and stuff like that, and they have been turning us down. Okay, then they think that we should try to work with the Kmart building and make it a sit-down restaurant area. But one of the problems that came up through the study is that they find that since you can't turn off 27 right into the Kmart, you have to go down to Anthony, come in. That's a deterrent for people to invest in that property. So working along with the city and stuff like that, we're trying to solve some of the problems that are keeping some of those investment dollars away from our area.
So what is going to be happening then on the south side? What do you see? I mean, what is the process? Let's say, an investor gets wind that there's land available. How does that transpire? How does the idea get presented to the neighborhoods?
Well, that's the thing. The mayor offered land. Kmart, Target, which a lot of people don't know, the Target building is actually going to be a server host building. A company that needs server space, they bought the whole building and they're revamping it now. So it's not going to be real fancy, but that's an investment in that building. It'll be contained with servers. When you pursue looking for investors, when you look for investors, you have to court them, you have to find them, the mayor was giving away land out there. Investors heard about it and they came and investigated it, and nobody wanted to because of the slow development over there. So we have to pursue and write letters and get together with these ideas and stuff for the type of things we want, and work with the city so we can kind of court these people to come over and invest on our side.
Are the residents rallying around with you?
Absolutely. The residents got mad because they heard about another C-store, and rightfully so. When we talked, the investors came and talked to the councilman and I, and we told them that we need another C-store. We told them that. But they keep trying to, they're businessmen. They were trying to sell it this way. Now that they found out that the neighborhood really doesn't want that there, they're revamping their clues, and we haven't talked to them yet about it. We're still having to, try to figure it out. But they're making some adjustments and stuff like that, and they'll hear about it on November 8th down at the Planning Commission at the Citizen Square.
So now on May 8th, What is the focus there? What's going to happen then?
What the focus is they're going to come together and let us know what they've come up with. Okay, they're going to apply. They're applying to get their approval to build their project. Is what they're trying to do, and by the neighbors showing up saying yay or nay in favor of after they make their proposal, that will kind of lead, or I should say, give the planning commission a sense of idea of what the neighborhood wants. Now, I'll be the first one to say I'm glad that they're trying to make an investment, and with the upcoming Coke building refurbishing and a couple of 25 new houses being built in that area, something's needed over there. It's not supported. Indiana Tech's not supported. It has no way to support its students for basic needs that they have, the surrounding neighborhoods that need basic supplies, because everybody knows when you go to C-store, the price is a lot more than going to Walmart and stuff, but a lot of people don't have access to transportation to get to those places. So we're working on it. I mean, it's a constant battle to try to work with the neighborhood, work with the investor, and work to make the best plan that's going to make everybody happy, but you're not going to make everybody happy.
I want to tell our viewers, this is a live call-in show, and the number should be appearing on the screen. If you have any questions, especially about this issue, you might want to call in, because I haven't seen you duck anybody's questions at all about what's going on. I mean, you guys are really standing strong, and
well, and you know what? It's a process. There's nothing cut and dry about this whole thing. You're going into somebody's neighborhood. You want to put up a business, you want to employ, and I have to also iterate that these aren't all the same people. Okay, there are different groups running these gas stations and doing that, and they can run it like they want to. I know that personally, the Vicks brothers, they have an open where they try to hire on the first of Monday of every Monday, but it's getting good workers, people that show up, people with their pants pulled up, people that'll put their phones down and actually do the work. But then in turn, you have these other stores that give them a bad reputation because they're rude to the customers. I mean, these are things that I heard from the neighbors. This is what I heard from going on. But yet and still, we keep going up and we keep buying the junk food. We keep buying the 30 pops a day. We keep buying the $2.50 or $3 or $4 milk and stuff like that out of necessity for some and convenience. That's the C-store symbol. But if we don't break this cycle and start coming up with solutions, working together, we're going to always have this problem.
Now, this may not be true here in Fort Wayne, but in other communities, people from other countries that have businesses, they don't really treat, let's say, the African-American customers with proper respect at times. Now, I don't know what happens there. Have there been any meetings with the residents associations and people coming in with gas stations who are already here with establishments to create a dialogue to keep everything harmonious?
Well, we try to open our meeting. Like I said, the best thing, what is really happening is the neighborhood associations, which were many strong back then, are fading. Okay, people are moving in, they don't even know who their neighbor are for 5, 6, 10 years. They live next to them. The interaction between neighborhoods and neighbors is failing. It's just failing.
Why?
It's because you have the new generation can't look up from the phone, don't want to get involved, don't want to do anything outside of what is important to them. And I understand that. Everybody has a survival mode. They have to take care of their families, they have to feed their families, but they don't engage and watch out for one another. And then you have high turnover as far as rental. You have people that have truly invested in their neighborhoods, and with the influx of all the different nations that we have into our neighborhoods, we're getting a different vibe now, not like it was before. Before it was heavy industrial, everybody's working, they were making money, they were able to take care of their families easily. Now that has changed. You have to keep up with the technology, you have to have some kind of education, you have to want to care about your neighborhood. Like, you have people that invested in their houses, I have beautiful homes to this day. And then you have somebody move in next door and they drive up on the grass and park their car and start booming their music. So, I mean, it's a transition that's going on. It's not making everybody happy. And another thing I think is the young kids need to get more engaged. The city is not responsible because you guys go out and throw all your trash around the house and do all this stuff, and you're not taking care of your properties or working. If you get a neighborhood association that works together, it used to be you got together on Saturdays and you could work with city services and clean up all the block, and then they would come out and help you clean it up, but not to try to take your rental property and then you take all the stuff out and then try to get it cleaned up for free. That's not what we're trying to do.
Why haven't more black investors gotten involved in your estimation? I mean, I've been trying to find answers for that for a long time.
I have no idea, because one, I think that if they have been contacted, they might have been overwhelmed because they're contacted on a regular basis. Two, they want to see that the neighborhoods are trying to invest in themselves and not always be upset, come up with some solutions. I think sit-down meetings with them, working with city, working with council, and trying to court these investors, either from here or from other cities in the state, would bring the investors to us. Okay, but we have to show that we're trying to make changes. We're like any other city. We got the same problems, the same hang-ups, crime, poverty, schooling, the whole thing. But Fort Wayne is really working towards a better place for everybody. People are actually leaving and moving here, and they're screaming, it's a better place to live than I was. The housing's better, stuff like that. And then we can turn around and start building market rate houses so people can buy them out. But the question, a lot of questions is asked about that is, can I build a house on this lot? The city's selling these lots. Well, the guy wants to build it so he can rent it out for 40 years and let it run down and get away with his money. And that's the thing that we have to watch out for. If you go through the program, you'll find out why the houses were built, how they've been maintained, and after 3 years they're turned over to the tenant to see, but that's after the tenant goes through training, constant maintenance, and showing them how to care, because some people have never had a house. They don't know how to take care of one.
As we were playing the video clip of Chief Condra talking about what she admires about Fort Wayne and the black community, one thing that she said was, and I'm going to tie that to a potential benefit of, that will come about based on what you guys are doing in terms of bringing the community together. She said everyone has something to teach and everyone has something to learn. It's almost, again, with the definition of Renaissance, that's actually what you really have here. We can build our city the way we want it to be. Mm-hmm. In that, because of your activism and your action, you're guiding it.
Well, everyone does have something to teach, but what you have to realize is the teachers are getting old. They need new teachers to start rising. They need new people to stand in their place so these teachers that we have can pass on the information so they can make the better city. It's the technology world now. It's not like, going over and just doing this and doing that. You have to have skills. You have to compete for dollars, grant dollars, everything that you're working for in your neighborhood, you have to compete for it. In order to do that, you have to take the young people that have all these skills, computer, technology. You have to start making the new doctors. You have to start making the new lawyers. You have to start making the new teachers. If you go and look in the classroom, there's a lacking of black male teachers. Okay, so the young black males are coming up and having a hard time bonding or finding out, I might want to do that one day. I might want to teach, we have to start finishing the bridges. We have to start passing on torches. We have to start investing in our kids, and our kids got to start listening to us and know that there's something else besides being on Facebook all day and talking on that phone all day.
Do the other leaders basically across the city, church leaders, what have you, is everybody pretty much on the same page in terms of the direction the community has to go in?
To answer that question, I have no idea what the pastors are their page. I know that they are always striving for better communities. They are always trying to get the word out there and work with the community, listen to what the community wants. And until we all come on the same page, pastors, regular folks, everybody else, it's just like, You're seeing less and less people that want to be in law enforcement. You know, you are seeing less and less people that want to be in civil service like the fire department, which is a really good job. And you know, we put out for hiring for that. And we target minorities. We target minorities, and we're getting less than 20% applying to work in their community so they can work to make it a better place. So we have a lot of problems that we have to work with. I'm sure that the pastors in Fort Wayne are working towards that. You have a lot of good churches here with the same mission. And they have the same mission. And they have a coalition, they have meetings and stuff like that. So we just have to work harder and get our direction more focused and more clear so we can start getting some of this stuff done.
Because, you know, I am a fan of pastors. Mm-hmm. And people have said I'm kind of critical, which I don't think so. Mm-hmm. But I had Reverend Fincher. I'll say his name, Reverend Fincher. He was on a show, and I asked him, what is wrong with the level of activism amongst the pastors today? And he just said, they don't know their history. I mean, they may be biblically literate, but not literate in terms of black history. And that's why, that could explain why here in Fort Wayne, there's nothing. I can look back over 50 years myself, and there's been nothing going on. And, you know, they say that if you can look back over a long period of time and you see nothing, but you expect something, that's crazy.
Well, the thing about it is when you're talking about churches, you're talking about a real delicate thing, because they have a lot of good preachers, a lot of good people out there doing good work. What we're not doing is we're not working together. We're not saying get together. You know, it'd be easy to go over to, hey, we're going to do something over in your area this time. We're going to do something over in your area. The other thing that what you're lacking is here is the loss of the sense of purpose. Everybody thinks that they're entitled. Everybody thinks that somebody will come along and do it. But if you want your sidewalk, and I'm just taking it as a basic thing, I'm just using this basic thing. If you want your area cleaned up, clean it up. Go out there and do it. If you see Mrs. Jenkins, I'm just saying a name here, Mrs. Jenkins over there needs a little help because she's 82 years old and she can't manage around, you know, get a couple of fellas together, get a couple people together, go over and help her out, you know, tighten up her yard a little bit, go over there and see if she's all right and stuff like that. Those are the kind of things that we're lacking. I mean, we have a lot of people doing that still, and we have a lot of people that invest in their neighborhoods. We got a lot of people that invest in their churches. We have a lot of good churches leading us and stuff, but we've gotten away from the everyday, just do the basic things, just help one another, care about one another, you know. And if you see something that's not right, you know, say something about it.
Get that next clip ready to go here. So, Mr. Ridley, obviously you're optimistic.
Gotta be. If you're going to be activists for your city, for your neighborhoods, for your area, stuff like that, you got to pray. You got to get up and ask for strength. And then the next day, you have to get up and pray. You got to ask for strength. And then you have to execute. You got to go out and do things. You got to get involved. You got to try to find some direction. You got to try to help who you can help. Because some people don't want to be helped. Some people just want to do what they do. So you do the best you can, and you try to make a change while you're here and try to leave it better than when you found it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Run the next clip, please.